Well, hello, one and all. Dave Fennoy here. Another Wednesday, another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. It is 6 p.m. Pacific, and here we are on Facebook Live. First of all, I just want to say to all our friends and family in the path of iron, saying a prayer for you, have the best wishes for you, want you to get through this storm safely. I saw today on the news this may be about the fifth biggest hurricane to come through. It's dropping lots and lots of water. It's This is a big problem. More than 1 million people, it seems, right now are without power. And I know FEMA and the government are stepping up, but we may need to step up as well. Maybe some of us who have friends like Joe Cipriano and his wife Ann, who have a place there. I don't know if they're in town right now or down there. Chuck and Stacy live in Florida now. Sent them a note, haven't heard from them. My friend Mark Ryder is down there. We're talking about him being a guest this evening, and of course he is getting his family to safety, including the goats. So I know those are just a few of our voiceover family that are down there, but for all our voiceover family, your friends and family, let's say a prayer. Let's wish them the very best. All right, so let's get this thing started. Hamadi, how are you? Saying hello to a few people before we get going here. I'm doing very well, thank you very much. And since it's just me, it's always easier to say hello if you just want to pop in and say hi. You got something quick to say. In the meantime, of course, all the Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. And if you are one of the people who would like to get voiceover coaching from me, happy to work with you. You can go to my website, davefennoy.com, and book yourself 1, 5, 10, half an hour, 15 minutes trying to get an audition together. All of that is good. Let's see. Grace Newton from Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, any of that rain coming up that way? Thoughts and positive vibes to those in the path of Hurricane Ian? Yeah, this is a big storm. I hope the loss of life is nil, but the damage is going to be quite extensive, and a lot of people are going to need a lot of help. So let's keep those folks in mind. And that said, let's move on with what we're going to do today, which is let's take a look at our VO calendar. We've got some great things coming up. VO calendar, just get your game on LA. There is the Ultimate Survivor. That's voiceover, and the Sova's coming up, and VOcation Cancun. Let's talk about them a little bit one at a time here. Get your game on. Coming Friday, November 4th, just over a month away. And I was one of the coaches and panelists at Get Your Game On London earlier this year. This one in LA is going to include Tom Keegan, Andrea Toyas, Randall Ryan, 3 fantastic directors I've had the great chance to work with. They will all be teaching a class. Deborah Wilson has a class. I've had the good fortune of working with her on a number of projects. Zeke Alton, who was a guest here, will be on Get Your Game On, or there, I should say, at Get Your Game On, talking about the interactive or video game contracts and what's in it. What's Julia's last name there? Just met her today. And Ian Russell. So it's going to be great. I will be there. I won't be teaching this time, but I will be a panelist. So you'll get to hear me answer some questions about things going on in video games. So mark your calendar. That's Friday, November 4th. Now, moving on, the Ultimate VO Survivor. This started a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And it's a contest for voiceover, and it's a lot of fun. I have been a judge for a while, and they've got great prizes, and that's kind of what it looks like. Oh, if you look really close right there, there I am. There's Dave Fennoy. A bunch of people that you know, heavy hitters in the voiceover industry who are judges, and a lot of up and comers and soon to be heavy hitters um, uh, entering. So in the next few days, I'll start listening and judging. Um, Also, you don't want to miss this year's That's Voiceover and the Sovas Awards. Now, usually That's Voiceover would be one day and on a Saturday, and the Sovas Awards, the Voice Arts Awards, would be on Sunday, but not anymore. Now, That's Voiceover is going to run Thursday through Saturday, December 15th through 17th. I will be part of the festivities. I'll be moderating some panels on a couple of different things. But the list of who is going to be there and what they're going to be doing and how intensive it's going to be is too long for me to get into. But if you've never been to That's Voiceover and the Voice Arts Awards, now is your opportunity. We had to put them off for a couple of years live, but it's back in town, Burbank Marriott Convention Center. It's going to be fabulous. The guests are unbelievable, and I'd love to see you there. Also, coming in February, Vocation Cancun. And this is just going to be fantastic. It's another retreat, and I guess I got to thank J. Michael Collins for getting the ball rolling on these things. And this is another one. Corinne Gilfrey and some of her associates are putting this one together. And it's happening February 9th through 12th in Cancun. And let's see, do we have any more? Oh, yeah. Oh, who's that at the top there? Oh, yeah, Dave Fennoy, keynote speaker. Ta-da! But Maria Pendolino will be there, Tina Marasco, Mara Junot, Tracy Lindley, Elisa Zaya, Wendy Shapiro, Jordan Reynolds, Everett Oliver, Sarah Natakemi, is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure. I haven't met Sarah, but I'll be looking forward to meeting her there. And my buddy Jack Daniels there in the middle. This will be the second time at one of these conventions that I've been the keynote speaker. I am very proud and honored to have been asked, and I'm working on my speech right now. And let's see, oh, there's one more page here. Oh, yeah, that's a list of all the people and their credits. But I want to do something a little different today. Every now and then I do some critiques with people. And from time to time I just do a little bit of some of the course I'm teaching. But today I decided I would just go through some of the sayings and quotes that I have and what they mean. I remember when I was training in voiceover, and one of the quotes that drove me crazy, but I understand now, is just have fun with it. I used to hate it. What the hell do they mean? Just have fun with it. This is serious business. And what it really means is let go of the serious business, even if it is serious business, and allow yourself to enjoy doing it. Whatever's going on in our heads when we're doing commercials or narration or character work, whatever's going on up there is going to come out here. We think people don't hear it, but they hear it. It's the same reason when you go home and you're not feeling well, if you got something you're worried about, and you talk to your mom, she goes, "What's wrong, honey?" She can tell. Well, guess what? The casting directors can tell too. So we have to learn to get that out of our head. And these are some of my quotes that I use when I am teaching that I'm going to share with you. So, Dave Fennoy quotes and sayings. And if you see one here and you've got a question about it or I didn't explain it clearly enough, please pop a question in the chat and we'll see. So here we go. First one. The words are only the beginning. Now, this is an early one for me, working in game work. All too often, we think the words are everything, but they're not. We cannot make a character come to life by how we say the words or emphasizing the right words. That's not what it's all about. And let's see. My friend Mark S. Dale, great director out of London and a good friend of mine. The voice is the exhaust of the acting engine. Geez, what does that mean? That means this is where all the other things that we have done come out. So we are reacting to something, we are thinking something, we are feeling something, we're doing something. We have a particular relationship with someone. And all those things in this particular moment in time work to make what comes out of our mouth come out the way it comes out. And in real life, if you're angry with somebody and you have a conversation, it might not be loud. It might be hidden. You're still angry, though. You're reacting to something. And what comes out of your mouth is not predicated on you going, well, I'm going to go up here, I'm going to hit that word here. You don't think about it, just out it comes. So our voice is the exhaust of the acting engine, which is, once again, well, we'll get to that because, yeah, it's just down the road here a minute. Your body informs your voice. All too often, I have students that are just kind of standing there and kind of stiff, and they're trying to make it happen like this. But in real life, we're all Italian. We're all moving our hands. We're moving our body. Voiceover 101. Everybody heard this. You want to sound like you're smiling? Put a smile on your face and out the smile comes. Did you hear the difference? It happens with things like if you want to sound like you are a little more important, sit up a little bit straighter. Did you notice a little difference in my voice just by doing that? If you want to sound like you're a little tired, well, you can just kind of drop your body down a little bit, slump a little bit, and what do you know? You've got a little bit more relaxed or tired sound. Let your body inform your voice. Don't try to make it happen here. What are you reacting to? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? What's that relationship? And this is that, what are you doing? That informs your voice. All right, and let's see, what's the next thing? Oh, yeah. Read the script slowly and accurately to program your brain. One of the things we do in voiceover is have this wonderful belief that we can sight read things wonderfully. And a lot of times we can. I'm not bad when I get in front of the mic, especially with clients listening. But if we don't know what we're saying, or if we have to take the time while we're reading it to actually figure out what this word is, or why this writer wrote this in this particular way, we're pulling away from our thoughts and feelings on the subject, our reaction. What our reaction becomes then is not the reaction to what's in the story or what's in the script. Our reaction is to the problem we're having recognizing that word or that particular phraseology. Now, I always call it the 3 and 3. Read the script in your head 3 times, then mouth it 3 times. I promise you, do it slow enough that you read everything accurately. And why? Because your brain doesn't know from mistake. It knows that you did this thing, and it wants to help you by helping you do it again. Well, if you made that mistake, guess what? You're probably going to make that mistake in the same place because your brain, trying to help you, doesn't realize it's a mistake, and does it again. Now, can you get over it? Of course you can. But why bother? Read the script slowly and accurately to program your brain. I promise you this will be huge for you. Words are only important in that they give detail to what a character is thinking and feeling. All too often, we're trying to make words are only important in that they give detail to what a character is thinking and feeling. We're trying to make it happen by how we say the words. Forget about how to say the words. Play the character. What's the character reacting to, thinking, feeling? How's that character feel about that person or persons they're talking to, even if it's that character himself? And what is the character doing? Are they running? Are they trying to get in the bed? Are they brushing their teeth? Are they having a meal? What are they doing? Words are only important in that they give detail to what a character is thinking and feeling. We are playing the character, not the words. And this carries over into every other aspect of voiceover. What are you, your character, reacting to? Thinking, feeling, doing. What are you reacting to? So what just happened that you're saying what you're saying or doing what you're doing? What are you thinking about that and perhaps the person in front of you and the situation you're in? What are you feeling about it? What is your attitude? Are you loving it? Are you in fear of it? Are you happy about it? And what are you doing? What's the action? And when I say action, it could be anything you're doing. You're scribbling a note. You're typing on a keyboard. You're watching TV while you're having a conversation. More often than not, there's some kind of distraction we're having when we're talking to somebody. You might be on the phone with somebody and at the same time kind of watching, oh, wow, gee, that Ian is really downgraded to a Category 2 hurricane now. Gee, how about that? These are the things that you want to do. But wait, there's more. Who are you? Who are you talking to? What is that relationship? Now, these two kind of work hand in hand, and usually I put them together. Usually it's, what are you reacting to? So what are you reacting to? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you doing? And then we skip right into who are you talking to and what's that relationship? But I want to throw in here, make sure we understand who we are. And once again, this isn't just for character work. This is also if you are the storyteller, the narrator, the spokesperson in a commercial, a character in a commercial. Who are you? Who is it that you're talking to? What is that relationship? Now, if you're trying to get over ready reads, one of the things you want to do is read the phrases, not the words. And I'll give you an idea of what that means. Read the phrases, not the words. Read the phrases, not the words. Read the phrases, not the words. Nobody speaks like that in real life. The writer has to write word to word to word to word, but that's not how we speak. And more often than not, we're not saying complete words. Sometimes if you say, I want to go here, I want to go here. You didn't really hear me say the I, but you felt it. I want to go here. You kind of sort of heard it, but that's more real than I want to go here. More often than not, to's become ta's, and in many cases, the you's become ya's. We are translating the written word into the spoken word. All right. The words are only there to remind you of what you are saying. The only reason we have a script is not for us to read the words on the script. That takes too much energy. We have to see the words and the phrases and translate them into what they're supposed to be and then let them come out. That's why so many people have ready reads. So what you really want to do is familiarize yourself well with the script. You will not have memorized it, but it'll be there slightly memorized in your brain. And when you see, looking at this phrase, the words are only there to remind you of what you were saying. I don't have to read the whole thing. I get to the words are, and I got the whole thing down. The words are only there to remind you of what you're saying. You want to be able to see these words because you've read them, you know what's coming, you're not surprised, and they're just reminding you of this is what I'm saying. All right, the character does not have a script. So often we are trying to read perfectly in a perfect rhythm and hit every word, and I'm going to go up on this and down on that. But in real life, when you're speaking, you don't have a script. Your character doesn't have a script. Your character is living in the moment just like you are living in each and every moment. We have a thought. It comes out of our mouth, and that thought engenders another thought, or the reaction from the person who we were talking to, the look on their face, the body language, or the thing they said, engenders another thought. And sometimes I said that, so I need to explain that, so let me go further with that. You didn't have a script. You started, and then you invented and created and invented and created. Punctuation is suggested. Too often we're trying to make sure that we're, pausing for every comma, stopping at every period, or geez, there's no comma in there in this very long sentence, so I can't stop because there's no place to stop. Punctuation is suggested. More often than not, punctuation is grammatical. Hello, Bob is written hello, comma, Bob. But do we go hello, Bob? No. More often than not, what we're looking at is a way to determine that we're not cannibals when we say, let's have grandma for dinner. Nope, comma, you're a cannibal. So stop worrying about punctuation. Do I want you to forget about it completely? No. But I do want you to understand that it is suggested. And once again, didn't write this one down, and I should have. We are translating the written word into the spoken word. That's what we're doing in voiceover. There are no auditions, only performances. All too often, I think we step to the microphone when we're auditioning with the idea that, this doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to let them hear what I sound like. I'm in a hurry. No. Despite the fact that we are in the business of a creation and imagination, most of the people in it don't have the creation and imagination you think they might have. They're looking for something that touches their heart, touches their head. And when you bring that, there you go. So don't think about it as an audition. It's another opportunity to perform, and you want to make it a perfect performance. All right, just because your audition is great doesn't mean you're going to book the job. I know. How many times has that happened to you? You did a great I know this audition is just great. I'm going to book this thing. This is so me. And 2 weeks later, you're riding in your car, you got the radio on, and here comes that commercial with a voice that's diametrically opposed to what yours is, with a read that you're scratching your head and going, that's what they wanted? Why didn't they tell me? I could have given them that. If they really knew what they wanted, they would have just hired that in the beginning. They're hoping for something to touch their head, touch their heart. Your best bet, I'm not saying don't pay attention to what they're asking for, but trust your instincts about what it is, and don't try to go too far outside of your brand. That thing that you do, that person that you are, nobody can do better. All right. Our real job is auditioning. On the job, step in there like a professional and just have fun. You're the guy or the gal to come and save the day. But our real job is to audition. And I think that wraps up those. So let's get some questions here. Let's Terry Briscoe has some. When you're reading a difficult script full of hard to pronounce words and words that don't flow well together, do you still use your body movements in the practice as well, or do you feel that distracts your brain from learning how to say the words properly? Well, you know what? You'll find that a lot of us, especially those of us who have come out of the school of TV promos, kind of direct ourselves, kind of find the rhythm like this. Um, it's going to be a little different when you're doing some other kind of narration or playing a character. The more character work you're doing, the more it's your body is in the movement of what that character is. But what I'm going to say is, don't try to create physicality. Allow physicality. If you're trying to create it, one of the things you're going to do is make mistakes on what that creativity is. I remember doing a class in Dallas, and there was a young man. He had been trying to stand like this during a fight scene. I said, "You can't stand like that during a fight scene. You're moving. You're swinging that sword. You're doing. You're throwing these punches. You're doing things." So on the next take, what he did, he put himself in this really strange stance, and the movements he made were so incongruent with what he was doing that it didn't help. So you can make the mistake of doing nothing, or you can make the mistake of doing the wrong thing. Imagine what that character actually might be doing, not just any movement, but the movements that character might be doing. All right, J. Horace Black. Hey, this is awesome, Dave. Thanks much. Appreciated. Miss Janessa A. Morgan. Good evening to all. I love the yes. And let's see, Ellery King. Hey, man, sorry I'm late. You know what? It's okay. We're not going to send you to the principal's office, or you don't need to get a note from your mother. And gives me the opportunity to remind you, this and all the other Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. Bob Loza. Bob, let me just say hi. And you've been around this voiceover business for a long time, and I have been. I just haven't gotten in touch with you to bring you on as a guest, because I think you'd make a fabulous guest, my friend. Good to see you here. All right, Rich Hoff Jr. Regarding the upcoming events, I can only make one of the California events. Which one should a non-working newbie go to? I am going to say, well, you know what? You've worked with me. I'm going to break it down to two difficult things. One, you want to do video games. So there's a lot to learn from going to the Get Your Game On LA. But you can only take one class with one person. You can be there on Friday for all the events, the panels, the information sharing, but you'll have to choose who you want to take your classes with. And I think some of those classes are already close to being sold out. I know Tom Keegan's class is sold out already. There are a few places left in a few other classes. But that's a good choice because you want to do video games. Going to That's Voiceover is a 4-day event with all kinds of panels and information on every aspect of voiceover, from video games to animation to TV promos to corporate narration to TV narration to audio books to international and so much more. There'll be information on how to promote yourself, run your business, from the art to the business of voiceover. I can't tell you which one of those you should take. Both of them are worthy. Choose one and do it, and you will have chosen wisely whichever one you pick. Okay. Now, I know you have some other questions in here, so please don't be shy. Bring your questions up. Rich had, how much time do you have to read the script slowly and accurately when on the job? Will they let you 3 and 3? Ah, very good question. Wow, Dave. So you got a long paragraph there on the job. Are you going to take the time to read it 3 times through in your head and 3 times mouthing the words? No. Uh, but a couple of things. One, we're going to break this down into uh, various genres. In video game work, what you want to be mostly is in character. If you don't have the chance and you stumble through a script a couple of times, a line a couple of times, that's okay. I'd rather you be in character, and that second or third take, man, perfect. Because you're being in character, not worrying about trying to perfect the words. Uh, Often, as a matter of fact, all the time, you do a take and they're going to choose their hero take. And it might be a little discussion between the director and the producer. You know, I like take B. Well, I kind of like take C. What do you think it's going to be? I don't know. Well, what do you think? Take C. Occasionally they ask me, and I go, well, I like the last one I did. And during that time, read ahead a little bit. Find out what that next sentence is. Also in game work, more often than not, you're reading a line or two instead of a paragraph. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but typically in terms of, oh, I've got to get this right, it's easier. So you'll have a chance to read through it before you do it. Now, if you're doing a commercial script, they're going to give you that script when you come in the door. Take your time and read through it. Even if it's the script you auditioned on, read through it. There may be some changes. If you're doing a narration, generally that narration is not wall to wall to wall to wall. There are sound bites and whatnot. So take your time. Get that first paragraph down right, then do it. Get the next paragraph down right, then do it. One of the things I also promise you, you will learn to do it faster. Most of the time when I say do a 3 and 3, one of the reasons I say do it 3 and 3, so I know you'll at least do it 1 and 1. We get very, very, very lazy about really doing the in front work that is going to help us come up with the reads that we want, the reads that are believable, the reads that we really understand what we're saying. Often when I'm talking to students, I'm saying, well, what are we talking about here? Typically, we'll run a line that's part of a scene. I say, well, what just happened? What's he reacting to? Or what's she reacting to? And I'm horrified by the number of times that people, well, I think she wants to win this battle, and she's on the battlefield and she's got her sword, and it's like, no, I don't want the big picture. Right in this particular moment, what is this character reacting to? Where is this character? Are they indoors, outdoors? How close to the person they're talking to are they? Are they talking to someone or talking to themselves? What are they doing? Are they moving? What are they dressed like? Create that scene in your head. One of the big differences between voiceover work and on camera or on stage is you've memorized your lines, you have another actor to bounce energy off of, you are in costume, there is blocking. We don't have that in voiceover. We have to create it in our heads, and all too often we're being too lazy about creating it in our heads. All right. Gemini Life. Hi, Dave. Well, hi, Gemini. Terry Briscoe again. Do you audition for multiple characters in video games often, or is it usually for one per game? No, I often audition for multiple characters, and sometimes I am booked for multiple characters. I did a game last week where I played 5 different characters. And did I go far outside my voice? No. What did I change? I changed the attitude. I changed the age. I changed how fast a character spoke. those kinds of things. I didn't have to do character-y, funny voices. I just had to play a character at a particular point in life, particular age, particular worldview, and out it came. Boy, did I run through all those questions that fast? I know somebody else has something to say. Come on. I know you got something. But let me say this also, that what I have learned teaching voiceovers, more than most things, voice acting for video games, although I teach it all, but that typically is the thing people want to work with me on. But one of the things I've learned, that character work helps you with the rest of your work. Because the truth of the matter is, what is the industry looking for from us in commercials? They want somebody believable. They want somebody that the market that they're trying to reach will listen to and believe, will connect with. And we no longer connect with Mr. Big Voice that's got the phony smile and he's trying to get you to buy this car because, well, it's only got 150,000 miles on it. You're not afraid of a little mileage, are you? We don't trust that guy, nor should we. Very often we're looking to hear from somebody who reminds us of us. Somebody that we connect with. Somebody that just in who they are, we believe, we trust. And that is you at your core. Let's see. Grace Newton, I have an audition requiring a higher character voice than my normal range. I can pull off the audition, but I'm hesitant because I don't know if I can sustain it. Any tips for voicing a character outside of your normal range? Well, we all have a range, but if you're talking way outside your range, probably they're going to end up hiring somebody whose range is closer to that. There reaches a point where you're trying to go too high or too low, and you get outside the bounds of your reality, of what you can make sound real. Now, there are certain genres of video games especially where our characters are very stylized, and you might be able to get away with a little more there. But try, even though they say it's high, try it in your range. Or try it within your range. Maybe it's higher than, your normal voice, but keep it in a range that you can do comfortably. One of the things you do not want to do is damage your voice. I just saw a message from Gray Delisle that she can't talk for a week because she damaged her voice somehow. And Gray works all the time, worked a lot of gigs with her. A week off is money. All right. Genesee Morgan, not 150K. Wait a minute, I'm not sure what that's referring to. Somebody hit me. What did I miss? Rex Perkins, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Love you, Dave. Rex used to hire me, I believe, at the Disney Channel when I was one of their voices, and for a few things, and was one of the early people to, champion the Dave Fennoy cause, and I'll always be thankful for that. Gemini Life. I have worked with a vocal placement coach to help with that, which will protect your voice and stay within your range. You know what? And I understand that, and that sounds really good, but one of the things you just want to be able to do is know where your range is. You don't think about where your range is when you're just talking to somebody. What you'd like to be able to do is not necessarily think about your range when you're playing a character. A lot of times they will say things like, a higher voice, a lower voice. It's characters in their 20s. I don't try to play guys in their 20s anymore. But find the other character features other than the voice is high or the voice is low. What's the character's worldview? Where's the character from? All those kinds of things that you can do without going to the upper limits of your voice, or up or down, because either can damage your voice. What percentage of the top video game opportunities would you say are union versus non-union? Unfortunately, a lot of top games are not union, but most of the top games are. We've been making very good inroads into the video game industry. We had a long strike, one of the longest strikes SAG-AFTRA ever had, to get the main video game companies to become signatories, and they did. We won that battle, and more people have been signing on. A lot of people are afraid to sign on. They think it's going to cost them more money. It may look like that at the beginning, but they save money in the long run, and it helps everybody. And believe me, this is an industry that makes a lot of money. The video game industry makes more money than movies and music combined. There's never been a movie that made $1 billion in a day. We've had several games that have. So don't believe the hype. We are deserving. In so many ways, it's dangerous work because we can damage our voices. And once your voice is gone, it's gone. All right. Slightly off topic. James Earl Jones sold it. You know what? I meant to talk about this. Thank you for bringing it up. James Earl Jones sold his Star Wars voice rights. Apparently AI will be used to automate Darth Vader's voice in future projects. Is there any chance this could be a regularly occurring thing in the industry? I think it is going to become a regularly occurring thing in the industry. Now, they just happen to use one of the most recognizable voices ever, James Earl Jones, as Darth Vader, and he has reached a ripe old age, and hopefully he'll be around a lot longer, but who knows how long he'll be able to work. So I don't know the specifics of the deal, but I'm imagining that it was a good deal for him and a good deal for them. They don't have to try to recast the voice. They don't have to dishonor him by hiring somebody to imitate his voice. He still gets to be the voice, and I'm pretty sure they paid him well. I believe that is going to become something in the future. Where else it could go? Digital images? We don't know. There's a lot of things we're doing now that when I was young, they were just dreams. Chris Anthony Lansdowne. If you're asked to audition for it, read it and do what they ask, even if it's not in your range sometimes. Sometimes hearing you and how you interpret it, they just might like your version of it. Make sense? Hiya, Davey. You know what, Chris? Absolutely. What I was saying a little while ago, trust your instincts, despite the fact they said we want A, B, C. Okay, but maybe you're not A, B, C. Maybe you're X, Y, Z. So give them X, Y, Z. A pure, unadulterated X, Y, Z. Trust your instincts on what this thing needs and give them that. I can't tell you, once again, how many times I gave them what I thought they wanted, and you heard later on something that was diametrically opposed to what they had asked for. And then sometimes you kick yourself in the butt. Oh, man, I could have done that. Well, you were too busy. What do they want? What do they want? What do they want? Give them what you think it needs. Give them you. You'll be surprised how often that books. Is that the last question or comment? Come on, you've got to have something else. Let's talk about commercials for a little bit and character work in commercials, and why I'm a great believer that character work helps you with your commercial work. Um, when you're playing characters, you're playing a particular person with a particular worldview at a particular time in a particular situation. Actually, the same thing is true with commercial work. You have to be the character who believes this thing, who is doing this thing, and it might be as the spokesperson. So, and especially the truth is our job as voice actors is to get people to buy things that perhaps we don't use or wouldn't buy, to watch television shows and movies that perhaps we wouldn't watch. Uh, Sometimes I can't do it myself, but endorse political candidates who we might be loath to vote for. We all have a line we won't cross. That's kind of my line, but we want to be that character that connects with the person this client is trying to connect with, to help tell their story, to help sell their product. So it's about honesty of character, and character work helps. And one of the things about character work is you typically are being very conversational. You're typically playing a character that is just speaking, thinking, feeling, doing in a very normal human way. Of course, it's all based on humanity. Even when we're playing monster type characters, it's still all how far away from humanity are we? So when you are looking at that script that's got prices and percentages, step away from, doing the thing and the prices and percentages. Step away from that and just tell the story. Just say it, be it, react, think, feel, do, know who you're talking to and who you are, and you will make that transition. More questions? Anyone? Let me see if I missed anybody here. Nope, I think we got everybody. I guess we're coming down to the end of it here. Listen, this is a lot of fun for me. And it's funny. My mother was a school teacher, and she always said, "Son, you should be a school teacher. You'd be a great teacher." And I always said, "Mom, I am not gonna teach. You got to bring home papers to grade, and you got to come up with lesson plans, and and once I started teaching, I discovered I love teaching. I absolutely love sharing information that can make a difference in somebody's life. Now, people ask me sometimes, what would I be doing if I weren't doing this? I think probably a history professor someplace, which would have been teaching. Oh, wait a minute. We've got another one. Janesse Morgan, Dave, do you sing? Very random. I just heard an amazing opera voice when you speak. I just hear an amazing opera voice. Well, you have a wonderful imagination. Now, the truth is, I used to sing. I don't sing anymore. I think over the years of doing video games, I damaged my voice enough that I don't have the range and control that I once had as a younger man to sing. It is one of my life regrets, but by the same token, my life is still pretty doggone good. So I can only regret it so much. So no, I don't. I'll put it this way: I don't sing well. From time to time, somebody asks me to sing on a project, and they'll get a funny voice, a much smaller range than I used to have. A lot less control than I used to have, but there are some singing things out there that I've done, but I typically don't audition for them anymore. Anyway, why'd you have to end on that question? Anyway, this has been a gas. I don't know if you guys know how much I enjoy getting to know my friends in the voiceover industry and people that I have admired but don't know very well, because you can't know everybody. getting to talk to people about their careers. Man, so much fun. Oh, more question. How much practice do you recommend we partake in per day? I would, if you put a half an hour in a day, that would be great. I'd rather you spend less time per day than say, oh, gee, I didn't do anything this week. Oh, I'll just practice for 2 hours tonight. Repetition, you learn more with the repetition than with a big, long chunk where maybe you're tiring yourself out. You're not staying as focused as you should be. It's one of the biggest problems we have these days is focus. We are living in a society, we're living in a society where our phones, the television, all the social media are constantly pulling at our attention, and I'm guilty of it as well. And Terry Briscoe, we haven't made it to 7 o'clock yet. Let's keep going. You spoke earlier about pronouncing language as written. Pronouncing language as written versus how we actually say them in casual conversation. When auditioning for commercials, what is your recommendation? To pronounce things properly or authentically, which is what they say they want most often. Well, most of us speak clearly enough that we don't have to try to do more than what we ordinarily do. Sometimes, if you got a product, you definitely want to make sure that people hear the name of that product. They want to hear the information, but you don't have to overdo it. And all too often, people are overdoing it. They're reading the written word as written as opposed to understanding that it was written like this, but that's not how we say it. We do not, let's see, I'll bring you back up here. You spoke earlier about pronouncing language as written versus how you actually say them in casual conversation. When auditioning for commercials, what is your recommendation? To pronounce things properly or authentically, which is what they say they want most often. That would not be a conversational read. You spoke earlier about pronouncing language as written versus how you actually say them in casual conversation. When auditioning for commercials, what is your recommendation? To pronounce things properly or authentically, which is what they say they want most often. Now, I read the same, but the second time, didn't it sound more authentic? Didn't it sound more like, oh, that's Dave Fennoy just talking, as opposed to reading your words? Gracie Newton, if you were to recommend a method form of acting classes to brush up on and hone my acting skills, which would it be? Many have suggested Meisner. You know what? Meisner is fine. Any of the great acting teachers are fine. What I want you to be is reacting and thinking and feeling, doing and playing what the relationship is with the character that you're talking to, even if that character is yourself.
Your phone and give me the code number to secure.
2052.
No, look at your phone.
Oh boy. Excuse me.
Quick. I'm using mouse and that is secure because of the.
And what do you need?
They sent you a text. I need what they sent to the verification code.
Yeah. You know what's going to be here. I'll write it down for you.
Just, I got a pen right now.
I don't want to say it out loud.
That's it.
That's it.
The verification code they just sent you.
Yep. All right. Little family business there. Now let's see. Where were we? Gemini Life. How many hours do you do VO work in a day, not including your speaking engagements or interviews? You know, it varies. Some days you're going to have a ton of auditions and you're going to be blasting through those things, and then some days you have a ton of auditions and work. And some days it's auditions, work, and several kinds of work, and teaching. So I spend from about 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock every day talking in one way or another. Now, if I have a half an hour or something like that, I will uh, go sit down, have a cup of tea, and relax for a little bit, get my half an hour in just to recharge. But it varies. But I take it as a job. I'm kind of a 9 to 5 guy. Often I'm in the studio before 8, but I look at 9 to 5, I'm there, and sometimes a little later. All right. Dane, my buddy, what do you recommend for someone doing their first audiobook? Not only are you doing your first audiobook, you're doing the book that you wrote. Uh, just keep it in your voice. Just be yourself and say it. You've been doing voiceover and narration for a long time. Be you and do you. All right. Terry Briscoe, great example, Dave. And I think we have just about hit the 7 o'clock mark. We're just about done. I'm going to call it a night. And I just want to thank everybody for stopping by to say hi. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you're interested in coaching, davefennoy.com. If you'd like to watch this and any of the other Ask Dave Fennoy's anything, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training, my YouTube channel. So until next time, book something.